is that someone looks at you rather than you being in a black box. Know this. Just one look of Swami at you, one look is enough. No need for anything else. One look of Swami is enough. And for that, the yogis do penance for thousands of years for one look. Angam harehe pulaka bhushanamashrayanti bhrunganganeva vakul labharanal tamalam angikruta vibhutirapangaleela mangalyadastu mama mangala devatayaha. When time comes, we will learn this too. This is Kanakadhara Stotram. One look of the Mother Lakshmi, one look. What is the power of that one look? Shankaracharya describes in Kanakadhara Stotram. One look. So everyone on these black boxes, huh, to be present in a satsang, to have the one look of this class is what you have to look forward for. Otherwise, you are hiding behind black boxes. Entire life is a black box. Why you want to be in black box? Sairam. Okay, let's get started. Om. 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 शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ॐ श्रीगुरवे श्रीसत्यसायिनाथ श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः ॐ श्री परमगुरवे श्री शिरडी साईनाथ श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः ॐ श्री परमेष्टिगुरवे दत्तात्रेय स्वामी श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः हरिः ॐ. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hari Om, Shalom, Sairam, Namaste. Welcome to the preamble part, that is more aspect of ritual. And as we have looked at this word spiritual several times, and you probably have memorized what this actually means. The word spiritual. The word spiritual has two words in it. Two combination of two words becomes spiritual. Spirit and ritual. When you combine those two, it becomes spiritual. Clear, no? Huh? It's very obvious. Anything that is being said, if it is not obvious and if it is not real for you, please raise your hand and ask the question. I don't understand this. This is the satsang part of it. Don't simply listen and oh, it completely makes sense when he says it, but when we the moment we step out of the class, what is said, what is heard, who knows, completely washed away. That is what is called as holding on to it. That is what is called Shraddha. Shraddha is holding on to that. And then several questions will come, and I'm very honest with you. This is the real sadhana of a of what is called vichara, the inquiry. Several questions will come, but the moment you listen and you don't let it stick in, it won't stick when you simply listen. And then what happens is, when you try to bring it back, or when you go back and hear to this again, then it will say, pause and ask the question, what is being said? Is this real for me? Is this meaningful for me? What do I do with this information? What do I do with this? Or do I need to do something about it? Then These questions will arise, and in your own awareness, those questions, when they come, write down. And if you don't want to ask anybody, another greatest aspect about this is simply post it to Puttaparthi to Bhagavan Sri Satsai Baba. That's it. Or put it on his feet in your own altar. I'll tell you, the real miracles will happen. That's the actual miracle he has come to manifest in our lives. Is not to give rings and all this stuff. The real miracle that Bhagavan gives is the supreme spiritual wisdom. So, what the speaker here is talking about is nothing related to what this body has pursued, but it is really about, with a sincere, pure heart, asking the question, I have no clue what this word means. I have no clue what the understanding of this is. How do I make it real for me? What is that? What is this actually imply? When that question was asked, this what is spiritual? In this word spiritual, he said there are two words. One is spirit and the other is the ritual. When you combine these two 6-letter words, it became a 9-letter word called spiritual. And each of this letter implies S for self, P for propulsion, I of the individual, through R rigorous, introspection I, resulting in transformation T, understanding about the 5 L's as in human values. If you, this in itself is a discourse. Okay. This in itself is a complete study of the word spiritual. Again, it may mean something completely different for you. It is self propulsion of the individual I through rigorous introspection, resulting in transformation, and therefore having a true understanding and awareness of the 5 L's, which is the human values. This is spiritual. Okay, I think I'll try to put it um, in my notes so that you can go back and listen to it. So hence, both are critical. What are both critical? The spirit is critical and the ritual is critical because they're intertwined. Why the ritual is critical? Unless you are 100% in true body, mind, and senses, completely integrated into the spirit, and nothing exists other than that oneness only, like a Bhagavan Ramana or somebody like that, the ritual has to be the only means through which you connect to the spirit. If you simply only do ritual and not connecting to the spirit, then you are simply process oriented, and therefore after a while the ritual becomes simply a burden and an imposition, and you lose interest in it, and you will not have, the mind will not sustain it, like many of us do these Ekadashi Rudrabhishekams. Abhishekam is going on, chanting is going on, but the mind is not there. It is never present because chanting Rudram has become so mechanical that it has lost the connectivity to the spirit of it, and therefore oh, now you are really focusing on how fast this 11 cycles are over, rather than focusing on grabbing each and every aspect about this Sri Rudram. Why am I giving all of this stuff? Because if you do not understand this, these nyasas will simply become a mechanical process. Now you ask the question, if we agree on the fundamental principle that the ritual and spirit are intertwined, that in this RIT UAL, which stands for rigorous introspection and transformation, resulting in understanding and awareness of the five L's, as in the human values. That is the ritual. That is what you are living. And then the SPIRIT, self propulsion of the individual I. What does that mean? You have limited the I from the thought to the skin, and your awareness of that I is completely locked in that awareness only. Therefore, this has to expand. So the self propulsion of I is expansion is my life. What is common between the spirit and the ritual in the spiritual? Three letters: RIT, rigorous introspection and transformation. Sairam, if you are, again, please don't simply listen, don't take this as a prescription. Connect to the vichara part of it, the inquiry part of it. Therefore, the rishis, the incredible intellectual geniuses, have given this process in Sanatana Dharma, which is so integrated and such an incredible blessing to the entire humanity. And it is so all encompassing and comprehensive that they connected the spirit to the ritual, so that the mind is 100% focused, 100% focused in the action, because without the action the mind is dispersed, it disintegrates. And when this mind is integrated into this action with the spirit, which is the propulsion aspect of it, then you have integrated the heart with the head and the hands and the three H's, and therefore it is manasekam, vachasekam, karmanyekam, mahatmanam, vachas anyat, manas anyat, karman anyat, duratmanam. Trikarana Shuddhi, integration of the three, is the essence of Christianity, with the heart, the head, and the hands shown as the cross. The heart, the head, and the hands. Integration of those three is the true meaning of the cross. Then, reducing the mind to its lowest level so that it can comprehend the complete essence of the star within it is the essence of Islam. Expansion of the self in all directions, like that of a star in north, south, east, west, up and down, is the essence of Judaism. The fire within that completely burns any impulse that is undesired and interfering with the purity, and offering that bitterness in that fire of wisdom, is the essence of Zoroastrianism. And bringing this in this action without any reaction, resound, and reflection, and completely burning that in the cycle, is what is, without creating the cycle, as dharma is through the noble eightfold path, is the essence of Buddhism. And to be grounded in that which exists through the three states of the mind and beyond is the essence of Hinduism. And you see what religion doesn't have this? I know you all want to jump in and come on, Nyasa. Where do I put my hands? What do I do with my legs and all of this stuff? Huh? That is what come on. I mean, all of this, Anna, you told before. What is this? We are bored with all of this stuff. No, no, it is not sunk in. If you are not able to bring out, it has not sunk in, and it will sink. And once it sinks in, it's okay. This is the intent. This is the purpose. This is why I am doing this. Then what happens is this ritual actually becomes a most phenomenal expression of the self, like when you do these mudras, or when you do these different homas, or all these prakriyas, you are not doing like what others are simply doing in throwing something else into the fire and pouring something on an idol. All of that, what appears to be complete nonsense to a secular rationalistic mind, suddenly begins to take a complete meaning in itself. And that meaning is nothing but self propulsion of the individual I, the expansion of the I, because what you observe becomes a process of introspection, and that introspection should lead to transformation, not intellectual jugglery, right? That is the reason word, the RIT, rigorous introspection, transformation. Rigorous introspection, this vichara, should lead to complete viveka, which is transformation, to distinguish from the real from the unreal. And then the true meaning of understanding and awareness of the five L's. The yes, SPIRITUAL. You got this now completely. The lexicon of spiritual is opened up now. Any questions, comments, thoughts? That
Can you
means I.
talk about the five L's?
Oh, oh, the five L's. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, brother. The five L's. The first L is living. Second L is learning. Third L is listening. Fourth L is loving. Fifth L is laughing. Living is truth. Learning is dharma. Listening is peace. Loving is love. And laughing is ahimsa, non-violence.
Thank you. Yeah.
This is what our children, the SSC students, did in for Guru Purnima, the five L's and the five values. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or thoughts?
In a prison program, they defined ritual as symbols in action.
In where Murthy garu? What are you?
I mean, I was involved with a prison program called Thresholds, decision making, problem solving. There, they say rituals are symbols in action.
Symbols in
In
action.
action, right? Like a flag or whatever. Just some kind of something you imagine and think of what it means, what are you supposed to do, that kind of thing.
Ah, interesting. Ah, very nice. Okay. Okay. So, any other questions or comments? Otherwise, let's get into what you are anxiously waiting for. What is this thing called the different rituals that are done as part of doing certain things? Now, do you have to do the ritual? What if I don't know the ritual? Am I doomed? And all of those questions will arise. The answer is no. Nobody is doomed. Very simply, doing, very simply chanting or contemplating in itself has relevance and purpose in it. However, the context of these specific rituals come in where the context of where this comes in is it won't completely integrate the body senses aspect of it. It only engages the mind. Doing the ritual is complete integration of the hands, the head, and the heart. All the three. Just observe it. And what happens when there is complete integrity of the thought, word, and the deed? Thought, word, and the deed. That is what is the real ritual, spiritual. So when that happens, complete system integration happens. Yeah. Now, I'm not telling you if you don't do this, you don't get yeah, it's not complete. It is not integrated. And that's the reason why we observe the ritual. Okay. Then the next aspect about this is what happens if I don't have certain initiations associated with these rituals? And that is an important question. That's where the organized religion will impose so many things related to its agenda. And we are not an organized religion. We belong to the religion of love. And in that, there is always forgiveness because the purity of intent results in clarity of content. Okay. So the beautiful question Srividya is asking, when we do rigorous introspection and transform resulting in transformation, is there a metric to know if we are going in the right direction towards transformation? Okay, that's a very beautiful question. Always the um, it's an important question because I've been doing this. So what? What has resulted? What is the how is it affecting? Every individual's conscience will actually is its own metric. That's the very higher level answer, and that's the right answer. But then you will notice that the impulses that are being generated, those impulses are what we call as push button syndromes, will will have a lag time in them. They'll take a little longer to impact you. That is first metric that this the speaker has noticed. That is, note that, note how those impulses. Now what happens is you thought after you acted most of the time, but then what happens is the thought process kicks in before the action happens, or there is more lag time. There is more lag time. Okay, and that lag time, then the next question, purpose of Unnikrishnanji, purpose of ritual is bring awareness into what I do and bring in alertness into in the forefront. Yes, be aware, be alert, or be alert, be aware. BA is what happens. That's a good metric, actually, to Srividya's question. Be alert, be aware. That is the metric. BA is the metric. There's no other beautiful metric than that. BA. Invoke BA. He will alert you and he'll make you aware of it. Yes. And the other thing that, as Giri says here, we'll find ourselves becoming happier and happier for no reason at all. That's a very beautiful aspect of it. What we call as happiness always has a reason in it. But now, for no reason, you'll be smiling and people think you're a madcap. Be careful. Control your smile. And there is another beautiful description of it, which I heard from Jiddu Krishnamurti. He says it as choiceless awareness. It's a powerful way of, that's the ultimate metric. I mean, it's the what we're talking as happiness for no reason, choiceless awareness. These are the end results. Choiceless awareness. Do we even write these words down? and then try to understand what they actually mean. What is choiceless awareness mean? Alert and aware example. Okay, I'll give a real example that Bhagavan has, you know, given given in a very beautiful context. When when buttons get pushed, you get really angry. And then I asked Bhagavan, so my buttons get pushed, I really get angry. What do I do? And then he said, tell yourself that I am not a dog, but I am a human. Tell yourself that I'm not a dog, I am a human. And I said, what are you talking about? I have no idea what ఏ వెళ్ళి అద్దంలో చూసుకోరా అచ్చు కుక్కలాగా ఉంటావు when you become angry you look exactly like a dog. Have you looked yourself in the mirror when you are angry? Take a mirror and see how you look like a dog. And I didn't understand what he was saying about. Then see that alertness is now that when that comes, you when this awareness comes, the alertness is I am angry. Now the awareness is I no longer look like a human, I look like a dog. Wow. I said, what do you mean by what that, Swami? Why did you choose dog only? Why not any other animal? There are more uglier animals than dog. But actually, dogs in this country are taken care much more than even their own parents or somebody else. Kuchi kuchi, because it won't do anything. The dog is the most faith. Then Bhagavan said, oh, the dogs, remaining of the dogs. Look at all these dogs sitting around him as Dattatreya. Then Bhagavan said very beautifully, what does a dog do? Why does a dog bark? He asked the question, what is the reason why a dog barks? And I said the dog barks because when he or she looks at a stranger. I can't say it in America, it's politically incorrect. So um, so therefore the why does a dog bark? Because it looks at a stranger. Why does it bark at the stranger? Because it doesn't recognize. And therefore, when you get angry, you suddenly stop recognizing the person in front of you and you start barking. How deep this anal metaphor can go, you will go berserk. And then he extended that analogy to such a beautiful level. And then he said, therefore, it barks because it doesn't recognize. So the person in front of you, your own wife, your own child, your own friend, suddenly they look like strangers in your anger and you start barking like a dog. And then he said, yes, do you notice your syllable, voice syllable also raises with when you bark, when you shout in anger? And I said, yes, yes, that happens naturally. He said, no, no, doesn't happen naturally. Suddenly, the person is right in front of you, but you are yelling. Why you are yelling? The person is right in front of you. You can talk normally, even in anger. But we don't do that. We start shouting. Why we shout? Because not only they look like a stranger, the distance between you and that person has increased so much that you have to yell at the top of your lungs for that person to hear you. Then, beautiful closure. When you need to talk to me, you don't even have to say anything. I listen to everyone without anyone speaking to me. Ram, Sairama, please don't post things to everyone. If you have questions or comments, please post to me because I don't want people to get distracted. So we went into this. Now let's get into the subject. Uh, um, uh, this is let's complete with the comment. Time to recover is equal to 0. That means okay. You can read what Ram posted after the class. Okay, let's go to uh, the ritual aspect of it. On the Google Drive, you can actually see that if you ever go to the Google Drive, you will notice that in the Purvangapata section of it, there are now I posted 3 folders. The first folder, so you will see Argala, Diksha Mantra, all these Purvangapatas are there. Now here within that, there is the first folder called Prastāvana, and in this Prastāvana, there is Devanagari, English, Kannada, Telugu, all these different languages are there. Now I'm going to show you only the one in English, but if you prefer to follow in your favorite language, you can independently open it on your browser and then follow through with me because it will be identical in all languages. Now, this is the reason why, another reason why I request people to be present in front of their computers and follow the class. Because if you are on an iPhone or listening somewhere, you have no idea what is happening and you won't be able to see all of this stuff, right? So now this Prastavana has different parts associated. The Prastavana means what is the context, establishing the context. And in this context, what we do is you have to purify your body, invoke the Ganesha, invoke the Guru, and invoke different prayers. And then you do what is called Achamanam, which is taking a sip of water, and then purification with this water. Then you do uchatana of all the place where you are sitting. All the negativity associated with that place has to be removed, and then you do the Nyasa, and then you do the Gayatri, then you do the Sankalpa, and then you get into this aspect about what is Sankalpa. I will go through that when we come there. And then you invoke the Trinity of the Gurus, and then you do the Ganapati Nyasa, what we have gone through. So today, hopefully, at least we'll be able to finish the Prastavana part. Tomorrow we'll go into the other Nyasa, because Nyasa is a word that is used throughout. What does the word actually Nyasa mean? Nyasa is actually connecting or instilling to that divinity which is already present in you. That's is really as simple as that. We are all divine, and therefore, in the context of the divinity, we are reconnecting to that and bring complete presence. Nyasa is getting into the presence. So, all these mantras are, most of you might be already familiar with, but I want to choose someone who can repeat after me. Let's see. Is Lalita there? Lalita?
Not today, Anna.
Okay. Okay, you can chant after me, Krishna. Okay.
Sir.
Sri Sai Ishwaraya Namaha Harihi Om. You don't need to say these Sharira Suddhi Ganesha, etc. Those are only indicated for the sake of knowing what is the mantra related to that, right? So, and where it is needs to be said, it is explicitly written down. So, first shlokam is apavitraha pavitrova sarvavasthangatopि va yasmaret pundarikaksham sa bahyabhyantara shuchihi. What this is pure or impurity associated with all the limbs associated with my body. The moment I bring into the presence of Pundarikaksha, Pundarikaksha means the one who has lotus eyes. Lotus eyes. Aksha means eyes. Pundara is the lotus. Pundarikaksha. Sabhahyabhyantara shuchihi. Therefore, I become pure inside and everything that is associated with my self. Now, why you have to do Pundarikaksha? Why can't you do some other thing? These are the questions that would come, right? Obviously, why I have to say Pundarikaksha? I can say Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. There are so many gods. Why Pundarikaksha? Ah, that's the question. Okay, then the insight into now this is the ritual connecting to the spirit. The spiritual the spirit aspect of it is Pundaram, which is lotus, is present in dirt, in mud. It uses mud for its own survival, but it is not muddy itself. It is not touched by the mud. Just like that lotus, we are also present in mud called samsara, which is impurity all around us. But yet, we should not be therefore touched by it, and that is the reason why you do this as the Shuchi mantra. Very simple explanation. There could be so many other deeper explanations, but for right now, just be a lotus. Be in the world, but not of it. That is the essence of Pundarikaksha. Why I? Because the I is related to now. If you look at Kararavindena Padaravindam Mukharavinde Viniveshentram Vatasya Patrasya Puto Nivasam Balam Mukundam Manasasmarami. Hands are lotus, feet are lotus, eyes are lotus. Everything is lotuses. What does that mean? That means God is like lotus. He is present in the veranda, in the mud, but he is untouched by all of that stuff. He is sitting in the chair surrounded by mud, but he is not touched by it. He is the lotus himself, and that is the okay. Om apavitraf pavitro vam.
Om apavitrah pavitro va.
No, you have to remember the rules, no? I purposefully did not put the phonetics on this so that I will notice how many of you have memorized the phonetics. Okay, now
Om,
what is the phonetic you have to use, Ra? Hare, Sairama, you said apavitra pavitrova. What should you say?
um,
Apavitra
pa- oh,
fa. Apavitra pavitrova, not
oh,
apavitra pavitrova. See, that's why I said this is real term learning. I did not put phonetics on these mantras. Now you can go back and put the phonetics yourself.
oh.
Om apavitra pavitro va.
Om apavitrah pavitro va.
No, apavitra pavit f f
Om apavitrah pavitro va.
right. Bhurбhuvasvaha tatsavitruvarenyam bhargo devasthidimi dhiyo yo naf prachodayat, not dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Phonetics, right?
Yes, sir.
Pa. The visarga before the pa has to be pronounced as fa. Huh? Okay, yes.
Om apavitrah pavitro va.
Now,
Apavitrah pavitro va.
same Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Om Apavitraf Pavitro Va
Om apavitrah pavitro va.
Sarvavasthangatopi Va
Sarvavasthangato va. Sarvavasthangato va.
Yasmaret Pundarikaksham
Yasmaret pundarikaksham. Yasmaret pundarikaksham.
Sabhakyabhyantarashuchihi.
Sabahyabhyantarashuchihi. Sabahyabhyantarashuchihi.
Oh, full slokam. Om, I will say the
Om,
full slokam. Om Apavit.
Om,
Hmm.
Om apavitrah pavitro va sarvavasthangato va yasmaret pundarikaksham sabahyabhyantarashuchihi. Om apavitrah pavitro va sarvavasthangato va yasmaret pundarikaksham sabahyabhyantarashuchihi.
Next one you know. Please say.
शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः. गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
Gurave Namaha, not Guraven Namaha.
गुरवे नमः. गुरु
Gurave.
साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
That's it. Okay. Namaha, no extra N between Namaha. Okay. I noticed that Murtigaru was doing the mudras. Not many of you are, you are just watching. This should become automatic part of your system. The moment Guru Brahma comes, both hands should go up and touch the Guru Sthana, which is at this is the first Nyasa you're doing. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sheshivarnam Chaturbhujam. Why you do that? Huh? What is the point of doing this? Any realized person? I think I explained this before.
When you hit your head, it's for to be present.
Excellent, Cecilia. You are the best student. Immediate. She answered, yes. Presence. Presence. Otherwise, you are not present. Bring the body to presence. And then Guru is the one who is giving all the awareness through this Sahasrara, where it is present, the awareness. And this is called Mruga Mudra. When you bring in the thumb and the middle and the ring fingers together, it is called Mruga Mudra. Now, this mudra is very important because when you do Nyasa, you will be using this mudra most of the time. Otherwise, this hand like this, or otherwise like this. Huh? These are the three ways that you touch the different parts depending upon the mantra. Now, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, both the hands with the Mruga Mudra coming together is this. That is what you're doing here, and that mudra is placed on your at the top of your head. When you say the Guru, that is who you need to invoke. Now this next set of shlokas I put in parenthesis means they are optional and they are not mandatory, but those of you who are interested can learn these. Om Jnananandamayan Devam. There is a okay. Go ahead, Sairama.
Om Jnananandamayam Devam. Om Jnananandamayam Devam.
Mayan Devam is missing. Okay. Om Nirmala Sphatikakritim.
Nirmala Sphatikakrutim. Nirmala Sphatikakrutim.
Adharam Sarva Vidyanam.
Adharam Sarva Vidyanam. Adharam Sarva Vidyanam.
Hayagrivam
Hayagrivam Hayagrivam
Sri Hayagrivaya Namaha.
Shri Hayagrivaya Namaha. Shri
Okay.
Hayagrivaya Namaha.
Sharadindu Vikasa Mandahasam.
Sharadindu Vikasa Mandahasam. Sharadindu Vikasa Mandahasam.
Spuradindivaralochanabhiramam.
Spuradindivaralochanabhiramam. Spuradindivaralochanabhiramam.
Aravinda Samana Sundarasyam.
Aravinda Samana Sundarasyam. Aravinda Samana Sundarasyam.
Aravindanana Sundari Mupasmahe.
Aravindanana Sundari Mupasmahe. Aravindanana Sundari Mupasmahe.
Mahasaraswatyai Namaha.
Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Mahasaraswatyai Namaha.
Antarayatimiropashantaye.
Antarayatimiropashantaye. Antarayatimiropashantaye.
Shantapavanamachintya Vaibhavam.
Shantapavanamachintya Vaibhavam. Shantapavanamachintya Vaibhavam.
Tannaram Vapushi Kunjaram Mukhe.
Tannaram Vapushi Kunjaram Mukhe. Tannaram Vapushi Kunjaram Mukhe.
Manmahe Kimapi Tundilam Mamaha.
Manmahe Kimapi Tundilam Mamaha. Manmahe Kimapi Tundilam Mamaha.
श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः।
श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः।
गुरवे सर्वलोकानां
गुरवे सर्वलोकानां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां
भिषजे भवरोगिणां
भिषजे भवरोगिणां भिषजे भवरोगिणां
निधये सर्वविद्यानां
निधये सर्वविद्यानां निधये सर्वविद्यानां
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ॐ श्रीमेधा दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ॐ श्रीमेधा दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधा दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
अस्मत्श्रीगुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः।
अस्मत्श्रीगुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। अस्मत्श्रीगुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः।
Okay, good. Now from here, the next set of shlokas, the next set of mantras again, I you don't need to chant, but it is for when we are chanting this, there are these mantras. Yes, Shivo Nama. What is the essence of what we're doing here? We're doing the context, bringing in context the presence of the blessings of Hayagriva, who is none other than the Vishnu Avatara, who represents complete pure wisdom, and Mahasaraswati, pure wisdom, Mahaganapati, and Dakshinamurti. So all these four shlokas are associated with jnana, with complete awareness and wisdom. So these for this particular body, these shlokas have great relevance because I was initiated into these shlokas myself when I was a very small kid. That's a different story. It's a personal matter. Now it doesn't matter. Never mind. Let's go. The next thing is the other shlokas. I'll just chant so that who are used to chanting may chant them. Yash Shivo Nama Rupabhyam Ya Devi Sarvamangala Tayos Samsmaranat Pumsam Sarvato Jayamangalam Labhastesham Jayastesham Kutastesham Parabhavah येषामिन्दीवरश्यामो हृदयस्थो जनार्दनः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहं सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्धसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके देवि नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते ॐ श्रीलक्ष्मीनारायणाभ्यां नमः ॐ श्री उमामहेश्वराभ्यां नमः ॐ श्रीवाणी हिरण्यगर्भाभ्यां नमः ॐ श्री शची पुरन्दराभ्यां नमः ॐ श्री अरुन्धती वसिष्ठाभ्यां नमः ॐ श्री सीतारामाभ्यां नमः ॐ श्री साईरामाय नमः ॐ सर्वेभ्यो महाजनेभ्यो नमः अयं मुहूर्तः सुमुहूर्तोऽस्तु. What these shlokas are invoking now, all different deities and the great rishis into the presence. Now what you're seeing, you're bringing into presence all this awareness of all the gods and deities and great rishis. Then the next one is about the time. Muhurta is the timing. May this timing of doing this be the most auspicious timing. So now what we are saying, first is awareness, the awareness of supreme consciousness. Then bringing into that the timing associated with it. Then bringing into that your own presence associated with it. Your own presence as in this body mind energy or mind senses complex. Then this is the prakriya. You see, there is a prakriya to this. There is a complete technical. Everything is thought through in the context of bringing complete presence to the place where you are, and then देवीं वाचमजनयन्त देवास्तां विश्वरूपा पशवो वदन्ति सा नो मन्द्रेशमूर्जन्दुहानाधेनुर्वागस्मा नोपसुष्टुतैतु. Then we say तदेव लग्नं सुदिनं तदेव लग्नं सुदिनं तदेव ताराबलं चन्द्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं दैवबलं तदेव पर्तीपते तेऽङ्घ्रियुग्मं स्मरामि यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहं परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. आर्ता विषण्णाः शिथिलाश्च भीता घोरेषु च व्याधिषु वर्तमानाः संकीर्त्य नारायण शब्दमात्रं विमुक्तदुःखा सुखिनो भवन्तु. कायेन वाच मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सत्यनारायणायेति समर्पयामि. साई नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. That is just the prarthana, the invocation part of it. Now, after this is now you said Vishnu Smarana. There are 24 names of Vishnu that are used for purification of the body. Why this is done is simply using the water. Using the water, then you can do the Achamana, and when you do the Achamana, here is this is the mudra. It's called Gokarna mudra. Gokarnam. I'll show it to you closer. What you do is this: when you take tirtham or when you do achamanam, this is the mudra you have to use, where you take your thumb, place it between your index and the middle fingers, and then fold the index finger, and then combine the other three fingers. Now it become like the ear of a cow. Gokarnam. Yes. And now if you put water into that, the small the small pit that is associated with it, how much water it will hold, only that much you have to drink. Okay. Now that water that you are putting enough will be enough to actually only wet the vocal cords. Vocal cords should not be drenched with water. Vocal cords would be wetted with water. So therefore, that is how you do Achamanam. Yes, never explained all of these things to people, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. So now, after this, now we are doing the Achamanam, and in this Achamanam, 24 different names of Bhagavan Vishnu are used. Why Bhagavan Vishnu is because he represents the Sthiti Karaka, or the one who sustains, and who is represented in the context of the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the Trinity. The one who sustains or preserves is Mahavishnu. Therefore, the preservation aspect of it, the sustenance part of it. When you come to a puja for with Shekharji, you have to sit for 4.5 hours. You have to sustain through that, no? And so, if you don't sustain through that, how are you going to see? The body has to sustain all that. After 30 minutes, you're looking at the time and saying, when can I get out of this place? The body has to sustain, and therefore Vishnu is invoked. And in the context of that, now you do Achamanam. And when you do these Achamanam, each of these names have significant, profound inner meaning of it. Is beyond the scope of this learning session to go into that. Very simply put, the most important names, Keshava, Narayana, Madhava. These are the three that are used while you put the water with a spoon enough only to fill this dip, not to drink a whole lot, as I said. And then when you do that, you only you should not touch the lower lip. The upper lip is the one that should be taken with. That means the water is flowing from the palate directly, most of the time, directly into the vocal cords without even touching the tongue. That's how Achamanam has to be done. Why that is? Because every bit of energy is now going directly, and you should not touch the lower lip, and then put it directly in there. This is how Achamanam is done. Keshava, Narayana, Madhava. Very simply said, sounds like ordinary names, but pay attention to where the sound is coming from. When you say ka, when you say na, when you say ma. Keshava, Narayana, Madhava. When you say ka, coming from the back of your, right in front of your throat box. Ka, ka, ka. Na, tongue is touching the palate. Na, ma. No tongue is used, only lips. Ma. So experience that sound. It's the vibration of the energy. Ka, na, ma. A, u, ma. Ka itself, K has Ka plus A plus E, therefore K, and that is explained as the representation of the energies of the three trinities, A, U, Ma. Narayana, Madhava. You do three times. Keshava, Narayana is Swaha, Madhava is Swaha, three times. Then all these other I have put in Sanskritam only, but I have to get the time to write this down in English. Govinda, Govindaya Namaha, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara, Hrishikesha, Padmanabha, Damodara, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Prajumna, Aniruddha, Purushottama, Adhokshaja, Narasimha, Achyuta, Janardana, Upendra, Hara, Sri Krishnaya Namaha. Now I have to substitute these M's with N's. Now these mantras while you're doing, okay, now maybe here is the Marjayet. You take a bit of water and you sprinkle on certain places. Govindaya Namaha, sprinkle on the feet. Vishnu Madhusudana, lips are cleaned. Oshtau. Trivikrama Vamana, sprinkle the water on your head. Okay. Oshtau, lips. Now I'm doing this myself. Proksha is a head, sprinkle on the head. Sridhara, Rishikesha, put the water in your left hand and then do like this. Vamana Rishikesha, Sridhara Rishikesha. Then these hands are left hand, pour water in the left hand, and then Padmanabha, where you put again sprinkle on your feet. Damodara, again on head. Then Sankarshana. Sankarshana is associated with Angush. This, take this, the Mruga Mudra, and then you have to touch your bottom of your, what is called this chin. This is chin. Water, chin. And then Nasika, Vasudeva, Prajumna, Nasika. Okay, this is here is chin. Then Nasika is the nose or nose. Then Aniruddha Purushottama is the eyes. Then Adhokshaja Narasimha are the ears. Then Achyuta is the navel. Then Hridaya is the heart. Upendra is with the, you put your, with Mrugamudra you put your uh, Upendra is at the head again, top of the head. Okay, where is the other one? The head there is forehead. I think this is forehead. Okay, this is what you do with Achamana. I can only explain in words. You have to do it in practice. First, you have to lower. So, but you don't get overwhelmed if you don't know read all of these things. Just do 3 times Achamya and say Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. That is the, for everything there is a shortcut. Uh, so the shortcut is Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Even more shortcut that some of the people use is Om Atma Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha, Vidya Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha, Shiva Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha, Sarva Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha. They sprinkle water. Even more simpler than doing all of this stuff. But generally speaking, this is complete Achamanam for complete purification of the body. You see the purification of the body with the water. Okay, now let's get Bala Ganesh Ratnam. You can chant after me. Okay. Now
Yes, Uncle.
Bhuta Uchatana is now Uttishtantu
Uttishtantu, Uttishtantu,
Bhuta Pishachah.
Bhutapishachaah, Bhutapishachaah,
Not Boo, Bhoo. Okay.
Bhutapishacha.
Mahapranas are important. Please don't chant Gayatri mantra with Bhur Bhuva Suvaha. It has to be Bhur Bhuva Suva, not Bhur Bhuva Suva. Mahaprana very important. Uttishtantu Bhuta Pishachah.
Uttishtantu, Bhutapishachaah,
Ete.
Uttish,
Sorry.
Uttishtantu, Bhutapishachaah,
Uttishtha, shtha, not uttishtantu, uttishtantu, shtha. Sha.
Uttishtantu, Bhutapishachaah,
Ete bhumi bharakaah.
Yete Bhumi Bharakaah, Yete Bhumi Bharakaah,
Ete shama virodhena.
Etesham avirodena, Etesham avirodena,
Brahma karma samarabhe.
Brahma karma samarabhe, Brahma karma samarabhe.
Okay, I forgot to mention the Amshav. Hare Namaha, Sri Krishna Namaha. Amshav means Amsha is the both shoulders, top of the both shoulders. Those, sorry. Okay, thank you, Monk, for asking, Sita. Okay, so say the whole slokam again.
Om Uttishtantu Bhutapishacha, Yete Bhumi Bharaka, Etesham avirodena, Brahma karma samarabhe.
Brahma karma samarabhe. No, Brahma, not Brahma. So please pay attention to all these pronunciations. Not Brahma, Brahma. Ma,
Brahma
ma,
karma samarabhe.
samarabhe. Mahapranam. Okay, you're looking at Sanskritam or look at Sanskritam for Maha because the English may not be completely. You can pull the file from there. Okay. Now, what is a Uttishtantu? Uttishtantu Bhuta Pishacha. Ete Bhumi Bharaka. May may I drive away all these bhuta pishacha which are a burden to this mother earth, all of those that are going to interfere with my presence to divinity, etesham avirodhena. They are the, in order for them not to become a hurdle or an obstruction. I am, while I am doing this Brahma karma samarabhe, when I begin to do this Brahma karma, the karma, the ritual associated with Brahman. Brahma karma is a spiritual process. Karma is a ritual. Brahman is Parabrahma. Brahma karma is a spiritual process. While I get into this spiritual process, now Nyasaha. Now this Om Pranavasya Parabrahma Rishihi
Om Pranavasya Parabrahma Rishihi. Om Pranavasya Parabrahma Rishihi.
Daivi Gayatri Chandaha
Daivi Gayatri Chandaha. Daivi Gayatri Chandaha.
Pranayame Viniyogaha.
Pranayame Viniyogaha. Pranayame Viniyogaha.
Okay, now this is a pranayama, pranavasya, parabrahma rishihi. Parabrahma is the rishi. Mother Gayatri is chandas. Gayatri is the chandas. Pranayame viniyogaha. Prana is the life force. Yama means control. Pranayame vinyoga means for breath control. I'm now invoke this breath control process. But what is this process is now through breath. You feel complete presence of yourself. See, now you see, before we use water to purify. Now you are using the wind, the breath, your own life force to purify yourself. So therefore, here what we are doing is pranayamam kritva kumbhake imam gayatri mantra mucharet. This is the sutram as they call it. What is the process that is described? What this means in English is I am now going to do this pranayama, and in kumbhaka means in complete stopping of the breath. There I will chant the Gayatri mantra. That is how pranayama is done. Now, how is this pranayama is done through Dirgha Gayatri mantra, which is the complete Gayatri mantra with all the Vyahritis. These Vyahritis are Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. These are the Vyahritis. And the Gayatri mantra is Tat Savitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. All of you know this. Then Apo Jyotiraso Amritam Brahma Bhurbhuvaswarom. This is the process in which when you in okay now when you do this, you put your hand in this posture where you fold the middle and the ring fingers and open up the little, the pointing and the thumb, and there you use your thumb to close the right nostril first and completely get rid of all the wind air that is in your body. Completely exhale. From that point, you start inhaling internally, chanting these Vyakritis. And when you completely exhale, you will feel the presence of the energy of the Mother Earth, the gravity completely hugging you, which is the truth all the time. And from that energy of the love of the Mother Earth, you fill your body with the love of the Mother Earth completely through this inhalation process. So now you're doing the inhalation process. While you're doing the inhalation process, right? Now you're saying internally, okay, did I say like this? Okay.
Yes, uncle. Um, the the index
The
finger and middle finger needs to be folded.
index and middle finger are upward, and then the ring and the little finger are together. And that's so. Now close with the thumb, and now while filling your entire body, where you are starting, bhu is where the earth, bhu, where your body is actually touching the Mother Earth when you are sitting in the posture with your folded legs. From there, next is Bhuvaha, where the area of your waist is where the Swadhisthana chakra, where your body is touching the earth is Mooladhara, where the next part, the waist area, is the Swadhisthana. Then comes the Manipura, just above the navel. Then comes the Anahata, which is the center of your heart. Then comes the Vishuddhi, where there is the throat. And then there is the Agnya, which is the center of your eyebrows, and then Sahasrara. This is the thousand petaled lotus. How many are there? Seven are there. Seven chakras are there. Earth. So the which is the technical language, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agnya, Sahasrara. Seven are there. How many Vyahurtis are there? Seven Vyahurtis are there. Bhur, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Seven Vyahritis are there. So when you are filling your body with these seven Vyahritis, you are actually filling the entire chakra system within you with each of these vyahritis, and therefore your pranic force is going from the bottom of the mother earth all the way the tip of the perception of yourself, which is at the sahasrara. That is what we are going to do while inhalation process, huh? So I'll show it again. Put like this with the middle and the index fingers folded. Close the right nostril. Now you go in. This is a beautiful meditation in itself. When after you do satyam, where once it is touching the satyam, the life force kumbhaka, where you actually completely close both nostrils, and internally from there, from that point of view where your thing is now locked up, tat saviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yonah prachodayat, that savit, that life sustaining force, that varenyam, resplendent, thus divine resplendent effulgence, tat devasya varenyam savituhu, the life sustaining force. Bhargaha is effulgence, varenyam is resplendent, bhargaha effulgence, varenyam bhargaha means resplendent effulgence, that divine devasya varenyam bhargaha, that divine resplendent effulgence, savit, the life sustaining force, that divine resplendent effulgence, the life sustaining force, may that illumine and propel our intellects. No Hinduism in this. Hello. There is no the real meaning of this. There is no Hinduism in this. Gayatri mantra is about light. What is Gayatri mantra? It is about effulgence, divine resplendent effulgence, the life sustaining force that is pervading the gross, the subtle, and the causal. May that illumine our intellects. That there is no anything else. That you can call that as anything you want. That has to be resplendent effulgence. Now, what you have done? You have now filled your system with what? Apaha. Apaha means love. Jyoti means light. Rasa is the essence, which is immortal. Amrutam. And therefore, that is now you are going to now give back. Who are you now? Resplendent effulgence, pervading the gross, subtle, and the causal. That resplendent effulgence, the divine resplendent effulgence. Now that is expansion consciousness. Now you have expanded into this light, and you are nothing but light. And that light is nothing but love. So you are love and light, the love of the Mother Earth that you've taken up, and the light of that divine resplendent effulgence. Now now after you chant that Gayatri mantra, now you are going to exhale from there. Om Apaha Jyoti Raso Amritam Brahma Bhur Bhuva Rom. Nobody has explained this like this, pranayama. What they're telling you, ముక్కు పట్టుకొని చెప్తాడు. ముక్కు పట్టుకో, యు హోల్డింగ్ ద నోస్. నా ముక్కు ఎవరిది పట్టుకోవాలి తెలియక పెళ్ళాంది పట్టుకున్నట్ట. ఆవిడ కాదే బాబు, నీ ముక్కు నువ్వు. సారీ, దిస్ ఐమ్ టాకింగ్ ఇన్ తెలుగు. I'm talking in Telugu now suddenly. See, what happens is that the Purohit says, hold your nose. The guide doesn't know whose nose he has to hold. Who is sitting next to him? Wife. So he held her nose. So, and he said, no, no, not her nose. It's like he thought it is like a aeroplane thing, no? First put the mask on the person next to you. and then put it on yourself. So this is not what pranayama is. Now you see this is this is the ritual I explained, but what is the spirit behind it? What is this guy?
Secretary,
Yes, ma, please. Yes.
sorry, I have a question. So, what is the purpose of the Punal to purify in order to say the Gayatri?
What is the purpose of the Punal? Okay, so this Gayatri Diksha thing is coming. Okay, can I take that question in a few minutes? Because let's complete this and then we'll go to.
Yes.
So you understood the process of what pranayama is. Prana is the life force. Yama is actually to recognize and to control your own breath. If you can actually be present to your own breath and have complete consciousness of your breath, you will have complete awareness of your thought. That is the what we are calling as the Nyasa associated with Gayatri Mantra. Okay, then I think we are
Anna, can you
15.
repeat that once more, please?
So, prana is the life force, and the context of this. So, there are two things that represent the existence and the awareness within us. The existence is the life force, the breath. Huh? Existence is breath, right? Hello. Very clear, no? If you are
Yes.
not breathing, you are dead. You are not
Yes.
existing. So life is equal to breath.
Mm.
So therefore, this breath is fundamental to the life. That is prana. What it is associated with is now there is the other thing called the thought, which is your mind. the the mind and the mind as in the thought and the breath as in the life, they are intricately linked with each other. The more you are aware of your breath, the more you will become aware of your thought. This is 100% spiritually correct. The only way to know your thought or to be aware of your thought is to be aware of your breath. So, conscious breathing, observe that anything you become conscious of or become alerted of, automatically you become, when you become aware that you are eating more, what will it do? You will eat less. What becomes when you have uncontrolled breathing, you have uncontrolled thought process. And if you breathe in and out, like inhale and exhale like a crazy person, you will have the lifespan of a dog. That means each dog, 1 year is equal to 7 years of a human life. Why? Because the dog breathes uncontrollably. The turtle, which hardly breathes, lives for 150 years. And the one that consciously breathes will live longer and will be disease free because the thought is also controlled. This is pranayama. This is what it is. How many of us actually do conscious breathing? Now, there are different ways of doing this kumbhaka, rechaka, all those things. I don't want to go, but for the purpose of what we are trying to do, this is pranayama. You do this, and then while you breathe in, do the Vyahritis, fill your body with the love of the Mother Earth, which is the supreme love that is unconditionally loving you, which you can feel, and that you can take from all the way from the bottom of your body to the tip of your Sahasrara, and then you will expand that prachodayat, and then you are now gathering the love and the light of the entire cosmos. Yes, tat savitrvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. And that entire awareness and consciousness, the divine resplendent effulgence, now you refill with your body with apaha jyoti raso amrutam brahma bhur bhuva suvaha om. Okay, you have 1 day to practice this, all of this stuff. Okay, let's pause here. I'm 20 minutes over. Apologies for that. Then tomorrow we will learn the Sankalpa, and once we learn that Sankalpa, the rest of them you already know. The rest of them, the Guru mantras we have already given during Diksha, the Ganapati Nyasa Dhyana mantras you already know. You should be already doing the Ganapati thing. So maybe very quickly, if you have 5 minutes, let's complete Prastāvana today. So then this thing called Sankalpa, where is a very beautiful construction associated with what is the purpose of why am I doing this? Mama upatta samasta durita kshayadvara. Durita means whatever are durita, durita. In Durga Suktam, the word Durita comes a lot. What is Durita? I explained this. Go back and listen to what Durita is with a visual. I have created visuals around what these Duritas are. Duritas are the seeds of the past results that resprout with a rebirth. Everything that you have done. This is the fundamental cycle of ignorance. We went through that last time, right? Ignorance results in ignorance results in desire. Desire results in action. Action results in results. Results result in impressions. Those impressions become the seeds. Seeds of what? Next birth. And then you will relive. If you planted mango seed, you will get mango tree. If you planted, like Bhagwan says very beautifully, you can't expect to plant a weed and then expect a mango to come out of it. So the seeds of past impressions will come back. And what we are trying to do is samasta durita kshayadvara, to fry away those seeds that will be resprouting. That is the spirit behind doing this. And directed towards what? Parameshwaram Uddishya. Offering as an offering to Parameshwara. And for the love of Parameshwara, Parameshwara Prityardham, Shubhabhyam, Shubhe, Shobhane Muhurte, Sri Mahavishnoha Ajnaya, Pravartamanasya Adya Brahmanaha. Now, there are three constructs in this. The first one is about the place, the second one is about time, the third one is about objectification. What is the space? Now, the space is now coming in the context of all the space, kalpa, manvantara, yuga, pada, all this. You have to know what is, and then the year, the month, the monthly, which phase of the month, and all of this, everything about about the time, everything about the space, dvipe. Then there is Pradeshe. Pradeshe comes, all these things, Madhye, all the time, and then your own individual identity associated with who you are, what you are, etc. Why you have to say all this, sir? If I am doing it for the sake of world peace, why am I doing all of this? What you are trying to say is, I am offering myself in this time, space, identity for the purpose of universal peace. I am doing this, therefore I purify myself. And this purity of myself in this time, space, and identity is offered as an ahuti, as an offering into this Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina. This is Sankalpa. This is the purpose, intent with which I am doing it. Not only that, because you are doing in this particular time, space, and identification, not to be attached to those, but to be relieved from those. You understand? So the rest of it I will. Okay, now I explained it. Mama upatta samasta durita kshayadvara Sri Parameshwaram Uddishya Sri. Okay, you want to repeat the Khanda with
Yes, sir.
Mahapranas? Okay,
Yeah.
with Mahapranas. Okay.
Okay.
Mamopatta
Mamopatta
samasta durita kshayadvara
samasta duridakshayadvara
Sri Parameshwaramuddishya
Sri Parameshwaramuddishya
Sri Parameshwara Prityartham
Sri Parameshwara Prityartham
Prityartham tha.
Prityartham.
Shubhabhyam.
Shubhabhyam. Shubhabhyam.
Shubhe.
Shubhe. Shubhe.
Shobhane muhurte.
Shobhane muhurte. Shobhane muhurte.
Sri Mahavishnorajñaya.
Shri Mahavishnorajñaya. Shri Mahavishnorajñaya.
Pravartamanasya.
Pravartamanasya. Pravartamanasya.
Adya brahmanaha.
Adya brahmanaha. Adya brahmanaha.
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 Okay, you are either saying bhra or you are saying ma. It is brahma. If you can say brahma, then all the brahma will go away.
Brahma.
So you have to remember 4 words. Bhagavan, this is also Bhagavan's shared in a very beautiful interaction. He said, Brahma, Brahma, Karma, Dharma. Karma in Brahma. Karma in Brahma and Dharma, Brahma. So you have to remember each of these very powerful. If you simply do action in your delusionary state, it becomes simply action that binds. But any action done with awareness of the Brahman is the Dharma. And that is what Dharmavahini essence is. That is the essence of Dharma. In Dharmavahini, he describes this Dharma, Brahma, Brahma, Karma. So whenever you say Brahma, it is not Brahma, it is not Brahma, it is not Brahma, it is not Brahma, it is Brahma. So you have to learn how to say these words properly first. Okay. Adya Brahmanaha.
Adya Brahmanaha.
Dvitiya Pararthe.
Dvitiya Pararthe. Dvitiya
Sveta
Pararthe.
Svetavaraha Kalpe.
Svetavaraha Kalpe. Svetavaraha Kalpe.
Vaivasvatamanvantare.
Vaivasvatamanvantare. Vaivasvatamanvantare.
Kaliyuge.
Kaliyuge. Kaliyuge.
Prathama Pade.
Prathama Pade. Prathama Pade.
Okay, now here a lot of people say America Dvipe, America Varshe, Ramanaka Varshe, Aindra Khande, California Deshe, whatever, all of that stuff. Okay, listen, follow what Bhagavan says. Bharata doesn't mean India. Bharata actually means the one who is in love with the Bhagavan. That is who is Bharata. Rata means love. Bha for Bhagavan. The one who is in love with divine effulgence. Bharata Varshe. Bharata Khande. Now if you are, because they think that they are not present in India, they have to use all these words. All this Ramanaka Varshe, Aindra Khande, I don't know about all of that, but I definitely know one place. I definitely know one time. The place I know is where I love God. The time when I love God. That's all matters. The rest of the time is not time at all. The real time is the time in which you love God. The real place is the place where you love God. So Bharata Varshe, Bharata Khande,
Bharata Varshe. Bharata Kande. Bharata
Mero
Varshe. Bharata Kande.
Mero Dakshina Digbhage,
Mero Dakshina Digbhage. Mero Dakshina Digbhage.
Meror Dakshina Digbhage,
Meror Dakshina Digbhage. Meror Dakshina Digbhage.
Sri Shailasya Vayavya Pradeshe,
Sri Shailasya Vayavya Pradeshe. Sri Shailasya Vayavya Pradeshe.
Sagaror Madhya Pradeshe,
Sagaror Madhya Pradeshe. Sagaror Madhya Pradeshe.
Samasta Devata Brahmana Harihara Guru Charana Sannithau,
समस्त देवता ब्राह्मण हरिहर गुरुचरण सन्निधौ समस्त देवता ब्राह्मण हरिहर गुरुचरण सन्निधौ
अस्मिन् वर्तमानव्यावहारिका चान्द्रमानेन
अस्मिन् वर्तमानव्यावहारिकचान्द्रमानेन अस्मिन् वर्तमानव्यावहारिकचान्द्रमानेन
प्रभवादि षष्टिसंवत्सराणां मध्ये
प्रभवादि षष्टिसंवत्सराणां मध्ये प्रभवादि षष्टिसंवत्सराणां मध्ये
श्रीशुभकृत् नाम संवत्सरे
श्रीशुभकृत् नाम संवत्सरे श्रीशुभकृत् नाम संवत्सरे.
Okay, now that will change from year to year, as most of you know. This is Dakshinayana. That also will
Dakshinayana.
change. Okay, Dakshinayane
दक्षिणायने दक्षिणायने
Varsha Rutau
वर्षऋतौ वर्षऋतौ
Shravana Mase
श्रावणमासे श्रावणमासे
Shukla Pakshe
शुक्लपक्षे शुक्लपक्षे
Dvitiyayam
द्वितीयायां द्वितीयायां
Sthira Vasare.
स्थिरवासरे स्थिरवासरे.
Okay, now you can see that I am doing the Sankalpa associated with today. So
Today.
that's the reason. Okay, okay. That today is the Dvitiyayam Sthiravasare Sri Mahavishnu Nakshatre.
श्री महाविष्णु नक्षत्रे
Now
श्री
really,
महाविष्णु नक्षत्रे.
now the reason why we are saying Mahavishnu Nakshatre Vishnu Yoge Vishnu Karane is because everything associated with Bhagavan Vishnu is auspiciousness and expansiveness, and therefore we are doing that. But if you really have Drik Panchangam app on your iPhone, you, and you care to say the specific star and Karana and all those things, you are welcome to do that. But many people don't have that, so it is to simplify that. Vishnu Nakshatra, Vishnu Yoga, Vishnu Karana, Evanguna Visheshana, Vishishtayam Ashyam, Shubhati Thau. All the place. You have come all the way to complete presence from eternity all the way to here. You see how beautiful that is? And every place associate. Now comes the objectification or the identity. Now here you can see if you know your Gotram and your own name, you can say that here, but not necessary. If you don't want, if you don't know your Gotram and if you don't know your name in the context of, there are, by the way, 5 different names given to an individual when they are born. And what we really know is the Laukika Nama, what we are referred to as the Laukika Nama. But there are, when the Namakaranam is done, there are 5 different names that are given to the individual. Now, we are dying with one name only, so why worry about all of that? Asmakam Sahakutumbana means me and all my immediate family, and also all the bhaktas, etesham, bhaktajananam, who are born in all different gotras with all their families, and for them to have this entire Ashtaishwarya, not only the Kshema, safety, Sthairya, courage, Virya, valor, Vijaya, victory, Abhaya, fearlessness, Ayuhu, health, wealth and health, Ayuhu, Arogya, Ashtaishwarya, Vijardham, all these things you can read. I will just very quickly go through that because it's all very simply explained here. Asmakam Sahakutumbanam.
अस्माकं सहकुटुम्बानां
एतेषां भक्तजनानां
एतेषां भक्तजनानां
नानाविधगोत्रोद्भवस्य
नानाविधगोत्रोद्भवस्य
सहकुटुम्बस्य
सहकुटुम्बस्य
क्षेमस्थैर्यवीर्यविजय अभय आयुरारोग्यष्टैश्वर्याभिवृद्ध्यर्थम्
क्षेमस्थैर्यवीर्यविजय अभय आयुरारोग्य अष्टैश्वर्य अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं क्षेमस्थैर्यवीर्यविजय अभय आयुरारोग्य अष्टैश्वर्य अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं
धर्मार्थकाममोक्षचतुर्विध पुरुषार्थसिद्ध्यर्थम्
धर्मार्थ काम मोक्ष चतुर्विध पुरुषार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थं धर्मार्थ काम मोक्ष चतुर्विध पुरुषार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थं
येषाम् अरिष्टस्थाने स्थिताम्
येषाम् अरिष्टस्थाने
Anna,
स्थिताम्
yes
Samasta Mangala Vapyatam.
समस्तमङ्गलावाप्यर्थम्
समस्तमङ्गलवाप्त्यर्थं
Mangala.
समस्तमङ्गलवाप्त्यर्थं
Mangalavapyartham.
समस्तमङ्गलाव्याप्त्यर्थं समस्तमङ्गलाव्याप्त्यर्थं
समस्तदुरितोपशान्त्यर्थं
समस्तदुरितोपशान्त्यर्थं समस्तदुरितोपशान्त्यर्थं
येषामरिष्ठस्थाने स्थितां
येषाम् अरिष्टस्थाने स्थितां येषाम् अरिष्टस्थाने स्थितां
तेषां ग्रहाणाम्
तेषां ग्रहाणाम्
अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा
अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा
अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा not mrityu is not okay अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा
अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा
not मृत्युपरिहार no not मृत्युपरिहार मृत्युपरिहार अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा
अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा अपमृत्युपरिहारद्वारा
ओके अत्यन्तशुभफलावाप्यर्थं प्राप्यर्थं
अत्यन्तशुभफलप्राप्त्यर्थम् अत्यन्तशुभफलप्राप्त्यर्थं
श्रीगुरु परमगुरु परमेष्ठिगुरु दिव्यकृपाकटाक्षसेत्यर्थं
श्रीगुरु परमगुरु परमेष्ठिगुरु
कृपाकटाक्ष
दिव्यकृपाकटाक्षसिद्ध्यर्थं श्रीगुरु परमगुरु परमेष्ठिगुरु दिव्यकृपाकटाक्षसिद्ध्यर्थं
श्रीमहाकाळि महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वत्यात्मक चण्डिकाम्बा परमेश्वरी प्रसादेन
श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वत्यात्मक चंडिकांबा परमेश्वरी प्रसादेन श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वत्यात्मक चंडिकांबा परमेश्वरी प्रसादेन
चिन्तित सकलेष्टार्थसिद्ध्यर्थं
चिंतित सकलेष्टार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थम चिंतित सकलेष्टार्थ सिद्ध्यर्थम
श्रीचण्डिकाम्बा परमेश्वरी प्रीत्यर्थं
श्री चंडिकांबा परमेश्वरी प्रीत्यर्थम श्री चंडिकांबा परमेश्वरी प्रीत्यर्थम
पूर्वोत्तराङ्गसहितायाः
पूर्वोत्तराङ्गसहितायाः पूर्वोत्तराङ्गसहितायाः
श्रीचण्डी सप्तशत्याः
श्रीचण्डी सप्तसत्याः श्रीचण्डी सप्तसत्याः
पारायणं करिष्ये
पारायणं करिष्ये पारायणं करिष्ये
पारायणं करिष्ये
पारायणं करिष्ये
Right.
पारायणं करिष्ये
Now after that we are going to do the आदौ निर्विघ्नता सिद्ध्यर्थं
आदौ निर्विघ्नता सिद्ध्यर्थम् आदौ निर्विघ्नता सिद्ध्यर्थम्
महागणपति प्रार्थनां
महागणपति प्रार्थनाम् महागणपति प्रार्थनाम्
सद्गुरु पादुका स्मरणं
सद्गुरु पादुका स्मरणम् सद्गुरु पादुका स्मरणम्
okay सद्गुरु पादुका स्मरणं च करिष्ये
सद्गुरु पादुका स्मरणं च करिष्ये सद्गुरु पादुका स्मरणं च करिष्ये
Now go ahead, you know this
ॐ
mantra.
गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनाम् उपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाचेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्
Okay, small so when you are saying dhinamavitriyavatu not mavitrayavatu no avitriyavatu
दीनामवित्र्यवतु
Ah,
दीनामवित्र्यवतु
mahapranam dhi not di
दीनामवित्र्यवतु
yeah you have to consciously practice mahapranam. Okay, now here don't separate Kavinam Upamashravastam. We only do that only in Ghanam. Om Ganana Antva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavin Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannotibhissida Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhir Vajinivati Dhinamavitriyavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Jai Sai Ram. So tomorrow we'll just start with the Guru Paduka Smaranam and then we'll go into the Ekadasha Nyasa tomorrow. Now, with that, we'll do the Kshama Prarthana. Do the Kshama Prarthana, Tambi. Om Yadakshara.
यदक्षरपदपृष्ठं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु.
Anna, you are on mute.
Okay. So, can I do Achyutaya Namaha Anantaya Namaha? Okay, Ramesh. Okay. Achamanam, in our Sandhya Vandanam, we take water in palm and do Achyuta Ananta Govinda and drink water for each chant, and then we use our individual fingers associated with each facial aspect to indicate. Okay. Is is this different from the Achamanam for this chanting? No, whatever you are taught and your practice, as I already said, some people simply do Om Atma Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha, Om Vidya Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha, Om Shiva Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha, Om Sarva Tattvam Shodhayami Swaha. That is a simple Achamanam. Also, people do that. Or some people simply do Brahmane Swaha, Shiva, Vishnave Swaha, Shivaya Swaha. So that's all completely fine. But Yajurveda practice associated with 24 names of the Vishnu is commonly done, and that is the reason why I mentioned that. So, but whatever you are taught and your particular practice, you can do that. Then the
Saram uncle, I'll drop out uncle.
Yes, Sairam, thank you. And the next question is Gayatri's question. So, Gayatri, you are asking, is Gayatri still there? Maybe she dropped out. Okay. Okay, she's not the Gayatri, are not there, no? Okay, we'll take it offline with her, Gayatri. So, any other questions? Then we'll go to Swasti Mantras.
Is it Sairam? Is it Parameshwaram Uddishya or Parameshwara Muddishya?
Parameshwaram Uddishya, when you do the Sandhi, becomes Parameshwaram Uddishya.
Got it. Thank you, Sairam.
So, so you don't sub Parameshwaram Uddishya is Parameshwara Uddishya.
Yeah, it is supposed, so that is what it is meant.
Yes.
Parameshwaram. Okay, thanks, Sairam.
Yes.
Shikha Garu, when we do the Bhutochartana that you taught us, usually the priests tell us to take some rice grains, smell it, and throw it. What is the significance of that? I had no idea why to do that.
So before you do the pranayama, if there are any negative energies associated with you, then you take a few grains of rice and you blow the air with your nose, and then you throw it onto your left, which is to indicate that you are now, whatever negative impulses, negative energies associated with your own body, you are also doing Uchatana. You are removing them away. Okay, that is the significance of that. I forgot to mention that. Okay, thank you. Any other thing? Yes. Okay. So, yes.
Is it Dhinama with 3 or with Trayavatu? Because
In the Sanskrit, it is Vitrayavatu.
Vitriyavatu, Vitriyavatu, Triyavatu.
But it's mentioned as Vitrayavatu.
Dhinam avitriyavatu. Avitriyavatu. Avitri. Avat.
Half tra and then ya. So Vitraya.
Do you know what is avitri? The meaning of that?
No, but
Okay. Avatara is the masculine gender. Avitri is feminine gender.
okay.
The feminine of avatara is avitri. So dhinam avitriyavatu. Avitriyavatu. If there is an extra a there, I'll correct it. Yeah, I'll take a look at it if that's what you are mentioning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, may I?
Yeah, go ahead, ma.
So when we take the Sankalpa and we said Durita Kshaya Dwara and all that, I'm thinking like we are doing this for universal peace. So how are we responsible of removing others, whatever their bad karma or their actions?
Whose bad karma action?
Others, like we are doing for universal, right? So how can we remove somebody else's?
You are the universe, ma. Hello, Sai Rama. The world is you only. The entire world is you. The entire world is you only. Everything in the world, from atom to the most magnanimous, is present within you. Ano Raniyan Mahato Mahiyan. Who is there other than you? This is beautiful question. See, whatever you do in spirituality, you somehow have to separate yourself from everything else. That is the fundamental trap of Maya. Profound question you asked. How do I remove the impurities of others? No, you are the entire universe. So because there is nothing else, whatever exists so-called in the outside is completely present in you. Nowhere else. Completely present. So if you remove it within you, the reaction, the reflection, the resound of the world is also purified. Just think about that, how profound that is. The fire, all the Ashtamurtis are within you. Bhavaya Namaha, Sarvaya Namaha. All those things are within you. The earth, the water, the fire, the wind, the space, the sun, the moon, and including the spark of divinity called Paramatma is within you. Where else it is there?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, in that context, yes.
Not in that context. That is the only context. Everything else is pretext.
Yes, so in the pretext it is wrong.
What you are told as the pretext is what is the wrong thing, but there is nothing else that exists other than the self. Not and now then you ask the question, what if I am that, then what is the durita associated with it? That is what is associated with what you feel as anything else other than you. Where is my buddy Ashrit? There is this boy Ashrit from our Sai Center. What a beautiful way he described what sin is. I asked him during the Guru Purnima program one night, what is, we were talking about Bhagavan Vyasa's Paropakaraya Punyaya Papaya Parapedanam. In that context, when I was asking him, what is Papa? The simple thought that you are different from God is the Papa. Okay, Sairam. Any other thing? Thanks for asking. These are important questions because no matter what you do, we are falling into the same trap. Yes, Sairam. Okay,
Sairam, thank you.
okay. ॐ स्वस्तिः प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेण मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति